says, you know, Graham, he says, you could do wood blocks beautifully. How do you know that? Well, he says, I see your technique. I see how you paint in watercolors, and you could do the Japanese woodblock. You should go and see Noburō. Mokuhanga is the Japanese term for woodblock printmaking. And it's just, we interpret it to be woodblock printmaking. So it's one of the same. When I took from a master printmaker, Noburō Sawai. Noburō died about 7 years ago. But I learned from him, and he was a taskmaster. He really was. A little story, I would have a problem. Noburō lived in Vancouver. I would have a problem with a particular technique in Mokuhanga, woodblock printmaking. And I would go over and see Noburō, take my problem with me, and we'd talk about it. He'd give me all the answers I need. And then I would say, well, that's great, Noburō. Now, the other thing I'm having problem with, he says, no, Graham. You go solve first problem, you come back, I answer second problem. And that's how we did for 10 years. So it took forever to learn this sport. I'd like to show you, I've got to do a little piece of carving on this plate, which I've already used. And it's a reduction plate. And you can see up in here, I've already taken some material out. Well, that was part of the sky, little blue happening in the sky. And I didn't want any more blue, so I carved it away so I can print a slightly darker blue here. And then I used a much darker blue in here. So you can see that transition. Now, I do need to put on the print, I think I need a little color, background color, behind the flowers. What are they called? Chicory. So I'm going to put some color in behind, but I need to do just a little bit of carving to create the illusion of texture in this foreground. Well, it's actually background in behind them. That's all I need to do. Is this section wasn't right. So you make it right, you do it. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to pull a test print off of this just to show how I get to printing and the process. I'll take some color and I'll dab it in here, and then I will take my big brush and I'll smooth it all over, and I want another color over here. That's the blue, and smooth that across the blue. So I'm feathering the color on, and then I will take the piece of paper to be printed and make sure it's the right way around. Stick it in the Kentel mark, that Kentel mark, lay it down, and then print it. And all the pressure I can muster, round and around and around and around. And so what I've got there is the nice gradation of blue with the yellow. So that's basically how we go about making a print. It's the challenge. It's really the challenge of achieving imagery. And what you're doing is you're creating negative to create a positive. And it's thinking backwards, but it's not thinking backwards, because after a while, real life is backwards. This is real. This is forward. So, and after a while, you get your brain to think that conceptually. And it's not hard. It's not hard to do at all. The hardest thing is to come up with an image that's unique, that's different, that's not realism, but it's a little bit of pie in the sky, and creative. I would have to say, be honest with yourself. And I mean by that, paint what you want to paint, not what's out there in the marketplace. So I think that would be my advice. Be honest with yourself and to your art form.